I've been looking at these numbers. Net migration since the Tories came to power is going to be somewhere between 3.5 and 4 million.
Yeah.
Truly astonishing figure, given the pledges that are made. I believe it is the great immigration lie, that they've willfully misled the electorate at election after election. And yet, Matthew Goodwin, despite the failures, at the next election they make a fresh promise and everybody believes them.
Yeah.
Does that break this week?
I think this week is a watershed moment for the Conservative Party. I think if you ask voters out there who do they trust on immigration, the most popular answer today is none of them. Not Labour, not the Conservatives, none of them. And I think what we're about to see is the politics of immigration being increasingly linked to these debates that we're having about housing, about the lack of housing, about public services, schools, and levelling up. One of the things I looked at this week was just how much money we're spending putting asylum seekers and illegal migrants in hotels, which is £1.3 billion a year. Now, that is more than we are spending on levelling up funds for all of Northern England, the North West, North East and Yorkshire. So
actually, for the Labour Party, this is a political gift. Because, I mean, in many, many ways, the levelling up agenda was part of the reason that Brexit was, of course, the big reason, but part of the reason that Boris Johnson's red wall vote came.
I think that's true, but I think underneath all of this also is this broken political economy that we've got, and immigration is the most potent symbol of that. Essentially what's happened over the last 20 years is like a drug dealer, our governments on the left and the right have got big business hooked on cheap migrant workers, and as a result they're not investing in British workers. One of the remarkable things, of course, that Boris Johnson did, which many people don't know, is he removed the requirement for British companies to advertise jobs in Britain first, right? Not very conservative. So here's my prediction. Over the next 5-10 years, the politics of immigration are coming back big time, and increasingly it's going to be linked to these issues like housing, public services and schools.
Well, I tell you what, Matthew, you know, I mean, my great task for years was to make the electorate understand that EU membership meant an open door, meant a loss of control. Once that connection was made, the UKIP vote surged, the referendum came. If the public connect all of those things, then the next political insurgency will be even bigger.
Well, here's one stat. We built 204,000 homes last year, and we're running net migration at 504,000. So here's my message to the political class. Can we just get real? Can we have a proper conversation about what is happening in the country today?
Can we stop lying to people? Can we stop lying? Now, one of the beneficiaries of all of this could be the Lib Dems. But here was their leader, Sir Ed Davey, speaking this morning on gender issues. Have a listen to this.
I think we need to manage this and think about it and debate it with a bit more maturity and a bit more compassion.
Well, that's what Sir Keir Starmer once said to me, and he never did answer the question, can a woman have a penis?
Well, I've just answered that question.
They can.
Listen, I've made it really clear that if people, the vast majority of people will have the same gender as their biological sex, but a small number won't.
So a woman can have.
Quite clearly, a woman can have a penis. Does that do the Lib Dems good? I mean, how popular is this stuff?
It's not very popular.
You've polled this,
It's not very popular, put simply. Now, for the Lib Dem group of voters, there is a contingent who will say, you know what, let's just tear down all the boundaries. Men can become women, women can become men. But for the vast majority of people out there in the country, and they'll know this from our debates on Twitter and so on, it's not the position of the majority. The majority are looking at this stuff and they're thinking, what on earth is happening? And it's not just about the categories, Nigel. This is a really important point. It's what we're teaching children about these issues. Now, I think British politics is about 3 years behind America, and increasingly through the work of brave MPs who are looking at, you know, we're teaching kids there are 72 genders, we're teaching kids that, how to choke their partners safely. We are basically politicising and sexualising children in a way that I think lots of mums and dads out there are looking at this and saying this is insane. And by the way, let me be unpopular in Lib Dem land for a minute. We are pushing political beliefs on kids that have no basis in science. So I think the adults have left the room, and I think future generations are going to look back at this and think, you know, you guys really let down a generation.